Hello everybody, hope you're having another blessed day. For today's video, as you can see, we are back on the Yu-Gi-Oh card database to take a look at the next pack in our series as we go back and check out every single TCG pack ever released in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, and after we check out the pack with the cards in it, I'm also going to be keeping up the new trend and we're going to be making a deck using only cards found in that set. And I will be turning off the whole forbidden, limited list, anything can be at free if I want it to, okay? Okay, this will talk about giving the best chance possible. But there's a little hint. The deck I actually produced today, it's actually legal today. Every card, how it's set up, can be made the exact same way at free. Alright? So no worries. This deck is perfectly legit for today if you want to check it out. Especially for you mad lads out there who like to do the box ultimate and only like to make, like, let's say, versus series using this set. So here's advice for you. Check out this video. With that in mind, let's see what we got. So, checking out our pack. Last time we had Legacy of Darkness, and now we have Pharaonic Guardian. Ooh. Pharaonic Guardian, I think this is a set that may have the Gravekeepers? Yeah, I think this is a set of Gravekeepers, so let's check this set out. So, starting off, okay, I'm not going to read through all these cards, there's over 100 cards, but I will stop at some certain cards that I think are very important, or is even really good in today's modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's get scrolling through here. Of course, you can slow it down if you want to check out any of the cards. Now we'll stop here. This is actually one of those cards I did play back when I was in middle school. Mainly because back in middle school, we played a lot of cards like Ring of Destruction, okay? This was a really like almost auto win against Ring of Destruction because your opponent would flip it. Both people expect to take damage and you would flip each other's, okay? I actually played with my friend before and we actually chained, each had a barrel behind the door. And we chained to each other. Alright, I don't know if that's even like legal, chaining a count trap to a count track. Maybe, I don't know. We didn't know back then, but it was just very funny. Someone acted Ring Destruction, someone also changed barrier behind the door, and someone else changed no barrier behind the door to no barrier behind the door. It was just madness, but you know what? It was really fun to see. Now we're going through Book of Moon, which is finally back at free. It took like what was it, 12 years almost? I don't know. Book of Moon was a card I feel like should never have been put to free, except for when it was in GOAT format. It was very good in the GOATs. But as soon as we got like synchros, really, this card had no reason being at like 1 or 2. But it's at free now, so nothing to think about that. Let's keep going. Keep it going. Keep it going. If I pass a card without saying anything about it, I think it's very good. Please tell me in the comment section, so I don't want to forget that. Alright. And the next card I'm going to stop here is Dark Rule of Nightmare. I'm just stopping here because this is basically one of those cards that has always seemed to be used in, well, Chain Burn. Alright. Let's keep in mind, Chain Burn is not a fun deck to play against, just like Mystic Mine. It's basically the exact same deck. Alright, keep it going, keep it going. So, don't see anything else. We'll get into the Gravekeepers now. So, this is when Gravekeepers was kind of introduced. You know, I think this actually was a decent deck back in GOAT format, or at least when this was around. Because, you know, it has some good effects. You have some synergy with the cards. You can pop, like I said, this one can change the battle position of the card, flick damage. See here, special summon a card from one from the graveyard, flick more damage, turn a card to the hand. You know, lots of very good cards. This one does piercing damage. This one special summon from the deck. So yeah, a bunch of really good cards with here. All right, let's keep going. Guardian Sphinx, one of my favorite tribute summons back in the past because this thing was broken. Not only did it have that good, 2400 defense, which was a hard takeover, the opponent always had to attack this card because if they didn't, well, guess what? You're going to get flip summon on, and they're going to lose all the monsters. And that was devastating, definitely back in the past. Yep, keep going, keep it going. King Tiger for the whole lock, if nothing summoned more 1400 attack. Lava Golem, which is a card that's even played today, because Lava Golem has to beat over all those kind of combo-based decks. So say you can take out an Appaloosa and some other like to get like Boros Dragon. Just take both from give them Lava Golem. Usually at that point, you're probably going to win the game, alright? And you can't even negate that, unless you have like Master Restrict. And if you're doing something like that, I'm concerned about your choices. Alright, let's keep going. Metamorphosis, a broken card. Definitely has to stay banned. Mirage of Nightmare, another kind of broken card. It would be kind of broken in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Because basically it's such your opponent gets all their hand traps. Whoever has this card, they'll probably draw into hand traps on your opponent's turn. So that's kind of why it cannot come back. You know, and it could also help with like kind of get extenders if you want to kind of like, let's say you got a Kali Yuga deck. I play this card to end the turn. I would activate it. I'll get some cards on my opponent's turn. there's a chance I get an extend to help me combo off once I get back to my turn. That's about it and everything else. But definitely because a hand trap is so powerful in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Mirage and Nightmare can never come back. That's going to almost guarantee you a hand trap at least. Alright, keep going. Necro Valley is still a really good card. This thing basically says no to Orcus, because it says any card that activates or moves a card from the graveyard to a different place cannot be activated or is negated. And that is basically Orcus in a nutshell. Alright. Keep going. Nightmare Will, not one of my favorite cards. Good. Poison Mummy. Pretty good, pretty good. First fusion card. Then we have Reckless Greed, which is a card I did play a lot with my Volcanics before. Definitely moved away from it since now drawing into cards is very important. And being locked out, drawing for 2 turns, that can hurt a lot, okay? But it's still a card I can see play. I do know a lot of Zodiacs still like to splash this card in there. Just for the kind of off chance to kind of draw the last 2 remaining Zodiac pieces. It's okay like that. But, you know, in today's one, your draw is all important, even though after your first turn, you don't really need to draw anything else, okay? Because usually at that point, you either won the game, or you're going to win the game due to your negate board. Ring of Destruction with its errata. It was broken before the errata. That's why I think it was banned once maybe before, and even put at 1 for a long time. Alright. Keep going, keep going. Spirit Reaper can't be destroyed by battle, I believe. Yep. Pretty good, pretty good. Oh, jump back to this page. Come back here. Anything else? I know Trap Dust Shoot. That's another card. Is that on the ban list? I might have to check that, see if it's on the ban list. But I think sure that thing's banned. Yeah, because it lets you look at your opponent's hand. So that's definitely why. Because you can play this after your first turn. If you're going first, boom, look at opponent's hand. Take one of the monster cards out. For the same way you play it against me, you can take out either my extender or my combo starter, and I could probably be screwed for the rest of the game. Going on, and yeah, it's going to end up with Yami's ship. So, yeah, that is every single card found in the set. And now I'm going to switch over to Dueling Book and show you the deck I made using only cards from this set. Alright, and now we're back on Dueling Book, and this is the deck I quickly put together using only cards found in that set. But before I go through explaining my story, I just want to show you guys that Trap Dust Shoot is a ban card, okay? So that whole complication I had in my head, yeah, it's solved now. But now, let me go through explaining the choices of my deck, and I want to tell you right now, to me, this whole set gave the birth of one of the most hated decks in history. This deck is basically the start, at least in my opinion, of a burn deck. Yeah. Let me explain why once I get into the video. So this is basically the deck sitting around stalling and trying to burn out your opponent. So starting off, one of the really good start cards is Gravekeeper's Guard. When it's flipped, so basically I always set this card. When it's flipped, I can target monster my opponent controls, and it's returned to the hand. So some cards could have destruction effects or negates it being destroyed. Guess what? Doesn't destroy, still targets, doesn't destroy, bounces it to the hand. And that can hurt a lot of tribute summon based cards. Because, well, even if it goes to graveyard, they can Monster Reborn it, call it a Haunted. But if it goes to the hand, they don't get a chance of that. They'll have to tribute summon again and put in more resources. Then also play free Guardian Sphinx, which is the big kind of star card in this deck. Because as soon as I get to the field, every one of my turns, I can always just flip summon it if they don't attack it, bounce on the monster's back, and use the effect to flip it back face down to do it again on my next turn. So this is a very good card for stalling in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, at least back in the past. And I already talked about previously, this thing is awesome to play. Then I put free Nora Dora. I kind of play the same reason why I played the guard. This one, in case sometimes I want to get a card destroyed or can destroy a card, I'll set this card instead of the guard. Just so I get the card to the graveyard, okay? Then I play free Spirit Reaper, which is kind of one of my last stall cards. Because this card just basically cannot be destroyed by battle. I don't really care about the whole, if this fixed battle damage, discard one card from my opponent's hand. I don't care about that. This thing literally does say, though, cannot be destroyed by battle. That by itself, especially back in the past, well, good chance, hope win the duel. Then, if I do get my opponent in a lock and they can't even do anything, I will plan on sending this Lokota. Basically, when this card is flipped summon, I can draw 1 card. So this is kind of my draw engine. I don't plan on using it unless I get like further in the game. I'll kind of set in, I got my opponent locked in, they can't really do anything. That's when I'll play this card to help kind of speed me in to get my combos out and get the cards I need to kind of burn out my opponent. So that's why I play that too, because I don't really want to see it at the start. Serena King Tiger, I don't really want to see this card at the start, because this is again one of those cards I can play. This is kind of make my opponent brick, because if it's on anything that's 1400 or less attack, it just automatically gets destroyed. Okay, so that's also going to be a win condition against some decks, but it's not good against all the decks, especially ones out in the GOAT format. So that's why I played it too, because I don't always want to see this card. And if I made a side deck, this definitely would be a card that would be sided out. Then 2 Loft Golems, because one, it's a burn deck, and this card easily does 1,000 damage to your opponent due to the card effect. And also it helps clear 2 problematic cards. For example, I do play some really good traps, so if opponent plays Jinzo, I'm in big trouble. But if I can somehow Loft Golem Jinzo out, I'll be probably in good hands, and I can then use my traps on Loft Golem to kind of capitalize on that punishment to my opponent. Then I play Poison Mummy, mainly because it has really good defense, and when Flip Sun does 500, which can be chained to Dark Room of Nightmares, so this gets the extra burn effect on my opponent, okay? Then I play 1 Dark Geode. This is a weird choice, and most people won't play it. Only reason I'm playing that, because this is basically a 1 card out to any normal sum my opponent's going to have. Because basically, I can target any monster on my opponent's field, and it's going to lose 800 life points, or not life points, but attack points. So even if it has 2,000 attack, this card can still hit over it, okay? So that's the whole point of this card. It's just my 1 card out to any normal summon, strong normal summon card my opponent has. Then inside I play, I think, the 2 best normal monsters from this. I pick Impachi, because 1 has 1,600 attack, which is okay, but it has 1,900 defense, which is really good. And then the strongest normal monster they have in this set, which is 1,750 Master Kanishi. Alright, so only because it has good attack stats, it's in there. Now getting into some more defense, I do play free Book of the Moon, because this is basically my out to Jinzo. Okay, Jinzo hits the board, I don't really have good ways to play around it, so this at least helps me stall for 1 turn. And then I didn't have a chance to maybe do Guardian Sphinx, Gravekeeper's Guard, something like that to take out the Jinzo. Alright. Then free Dark Rules of Nightmare, because it is a burn deck. So, anytime a card effect selects my opponent is activated, it basically does additional 300 damage. So, it helps me quickly get to 0 for my opponent. Similar to No card, which is the big burn card in this deck. Free Dark Snake Syndrome. Basically, during each of my standby phase, both players start taking 200 damage, and it doubles at the end of, well, each of the standby phases, okay? So 200, 400, 800, 1,600, 3,200, and by then, yeah, that's probably the game. So this basically says the game's going to last probably 10 turns if I get this first turn, alright? So that's very good. The next is Nightmare Wheel. It's a really good trap card, especially back in the past. I played this thing even with Volcanics, because basically after you can target one monster opponent controls, and it cannot attack, similar to how I think it was a Nightmare Chain or something. I can't remember the card. Shadow Spell? Yeah, I think it's Shadow Spell. But it does lower your opponent's attack for that monster, but that monster, though, cannot attack. Also does 500 damage during each of your standby phase to your opponent. So that can be capitalized with Dark Room of Nightmare, and that'll be doing 800 damage to your opponent every turn, and it won't be able to attack or change the battle position, I think, of that monster. Alright? So they're going to have to prioritize kind of treat some of that monster. And then I have Ring of Destruction. Again, this pairs off really good to help you get a really good burn damage early on in the game. There ain't much I can say about this card. If anything big comes to the board, even playing against myself, if they do something like a Guardian Speaks, I can then chain Ring of Destruction to at least destroy the card, okay? So I don't have to worry about the recursion of like a Guardian Speaks or any strong cards. I'll have to save like Blue Eyes, for example. As soon as it hits the field, I'll probably pop this. Because Blue Eyes could be a hard out for this deck. Alright. So yeah, that's going to do it for the video, and that is my quick deck, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please show me by leaving a like on my video, or subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because it helps you support me, and it helps me make more videos for you to enjoy. Now, like the end of every single one of my videos, I hope the rest of the week is blessed, and I hope to see you all again in the next video. With that, I'm out.